Although we're winding down on non-conference games for the college football season, there's still some really good matchups for the upcoming weekend. In fact, there were so many great games, a number of them had to miss the cut. It was hard, but I narrowed today's list down to the 10 games I'm looking forward to the most in week 4. Before we get to today's video, make sure to smash that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. If you're watching this video, odds are that you love college football, and odds are you aren't subscribed to my channel, so make sure to subscribe to one of the best college football communities here on YouTube. I'll be posting college football videos every day during the season, so make sure to subscribe so you never miss another video. Also, make sure to drop a like on this video as well. It helps out with that YouTube algorithm and helps share the video with more college football fans. Plus, it only takes a second to do. We'll kick off this list with a great top 25 matchup as number 5 Clemson travels to number 21 Wake Forest for a huge conference game. Whoever picks up the win in this one will run the table for playing for the ACC title game. This matchup has been dominated by Clemson as of late, as they've won 13 straight games against the Demon Deacons. Overall, the Tigers are 69-17 in the all-time series. This particular matchup between these two programs is also a big deal because it's the first time they've both been ranked in quite some time. The last time these teams played where both are ranked inside the top 25 came all the way back in 1950 when number 16 Clemson beat number 17 Wake Forest by 1 point. Clemson is currently 3-0 and is trying to get back into the college football playoff after a disappointing 2021 campaign by their standards. Meanwhile, with Wake Forest, they're 3-0 and are trying to get back to the ACC title game for the second season in a row. Clemson is favored by a touchdown, but Wake Forest gets this game at home, which might give them the advantage. I think this is going to be a fantastic battle between two great ACC teams. Maybe one day this matchup won't be played at Jerry World anymore, and it'll be on campus again. Sadly, that won't be this year, as number 10 Arkansas and number 23 Texas A&M will meet for the 78th time. Arkansas leads the all-time series with 42 wins. They picked up the victory in this matchup last year, which was their first since 2011. This is a massive game for both teams. We'll start with Arkansas, who is undefeated and ranked inside the top 10. This is a team who has playoff aspirations. Not that a loss would completely take them out of the discussion, but it'll certainly hurt their chances. Meanwhile, with Texas A&M, they're still trying to rebuild after that loss to Appalachian State. One more loss, and their season will pretty much be a wipe, especially for the SEC title game. If they can win, they can maybe gain some momentum for a potential playoff push down the line. We have another top 25 matchup this week as number 20 Florida travels to number 11 Tennessee. The Gators have absolutely dominated this series over the years. They've won 5 straight and have won 16 of the last 17 matchups. Ranked at number 11, this is the highest Tennessee has been ranked in this matchup since 2005, when they were the number 5 team in the country. The Vols are 3-0 on the young season and are making their own push in the SEC. They've been one of the best offenses in all of college football so far, and they're a tough team to stop. Meanwhile, with Florida, they're 2-1 and ranked 20th, even though they've actually been outscored by 4 points this season. I personally don't think the Gators are worthy of being a ranked team, but maybe they prove me wrong this week. Tennessee has all the momentum in this game, plus they're a 10-point favorite, so they're expected to handle the Gators with ease. But we'll just have to wait and see if they're able to pull off the victory. Number 17 Baylor travels to Iowa State to take on the Cyclones. Don't look now, but Iowa State is currently 3-0 on the season. This has been a pretty close series over the years, with Baylor leading 11-9. We've had a different winner each of the last 4 years, with Baylor pulling out the 2-point victory last season. 2021 was a disappointing season for Iowa State, but they've bounced back nicely in 2022 as they've won their first 3 games. Granted, the sample size isn't great as they've played essentially nobody. They've beaten 2 really bad teams, and they had the privilege of facing an Iowa team with no offense. This will be their first real test of the season, but at least they get Baylor at home. Meanwhile, with the Bears, they're hoping to get back into the playoff discussion after their loss to BYU sent them down the polls. This game is also massive for Big 12 implications. With conference play kicking off, whichever team picks up the win to move to 1-0 in Big 12 play is going to have the upper hand on the other team the rest of the way. With the Big 12 really looking competitive this season, every win is going to be massive. The battle for the Iron Skillet returns for its 99th matchup. TCU leads the all-time series 50-41 with 7 ties. After the Horned Frogs won 7 straight, SMU responded with back-to-back wins in this rivalry. As if this game didn't have enough hype already, there are some storylines to follow. TCU head coach Sonny Dykes used to be the coach at SMU, so he'll be facing his former program. The Horned Frogs are 2-0 on the season. They haven't won more than 7 games since 2017, so maybe this is the season that TCU finally turns things around and competes in the Big 12. Meanwhile, with SMU, they've started the season 2-1 and are looking to have a huge season in the American Conference. This is one of the better rivalries in all of college football, and these are 2 of the best offenses in the nation through the first 3 weeks, so this should be an absolute blast of a game. This would be a fantastic matchup on the basketball court. Instead, this is a hyped up matchup in football. Believe it or not, Duke and Kansas are both 3-0 on the season. I don't know when the last time that happened was, but here we are in 2022 with both of these teams being undefeated. This will be the 4th ever matchup between the 2 programs, with Duke leading 2-1. They met last season as Duke picked up the 20-point victory. However, this is a much different Kansas team. The Jayhawks are on the verge of being ranked for the first time since 2009. If they pull out the victory in this game, Kansas will have 4 wins for the first time in 13 years. I don't think we truly realize how crazy this multiverse is that we're in right now. This is also a surprising year for Duke, who won only 5 games the previous 2 years. They're on pace for one of their best seasons in a few decades. These 2 teams being this good to start the season makes 0 sense. To put this into perspective, Kansas is favored in a game against a Power 5 school for the first time since 2009. Number 22, Texas travels to Texas Tech. This will be the 71st matchup between these 2 programs, with the Longhorns dominating the series, winning 53 of the 70 matchups. It may be just because of what happened in this matchup 15 years ago, but I always look forward to this game when it's in Lubbock. Both of these teams are 2-1 to start the season, but Texas finds themselves ranked inside the top 25. I talked about this earlier with Baylor and Iowa State, but this is a huge game to start conference play. We know Texas is trying to be back, but Texas Tech is impressed through the first 3 weeks of the season. They haven't won more than 7 games in a season in nearly a decade, so a win here can really get the momentum going with the Red Raiders. Minnesota will travel to Michigan State in what is a really underrated Big Ten game this week. The Spartans have won 5 straight games in this matchup, so this will be a great time for the Gophers to pick up a win. Minnesota has started the season 3-0 and is looking to move to 4-0 and possibly leap into the top 25. The Gophers have a top 10 offense and a top 10 defense through the first 3 weeks of the season. Their offense looks unstoppable and their defense has been lights out. Meanwhile, with Michigan State, they're coming off a brutal loss to Washington in which they fell out of the top 25 entirely. The way the Big Ten West is looking, Minnesota might be in the driver's seat to win the division, especially if they pick up a victory here. Michigan State has a tougher road in the Big Ten East, but starting 1-0 in conference play would be a great first step for them. We're going to cap off this list with 2 Pac-12 games. The first will be number 15 Oregon traveling to Washington State. You would think the Ducks should take this game no problem, but the Cougars are 3-0 on the season and already picked up an impressive road victory at Wisconsin. This series has been very interesting over the years. Starting in 2007, Oregon won 8 straight games. Then, Washington State followed by winning 4 straight games. Now, Oregon has won 3 in a row. Washington State seems like one of those Pac-12 teams who always seem to pick up 1 or 2 huge wins in Pullman every season. For that reason, this seems like the perfect time to pick them in the upset. It wasn't too long ago that Washington State was a top 10 team in the country. Cameron Ward has been great to start his career there as well, and Washington State looks to be one of the better teams in the entire conference. This one actually isn't a Pac-12 After Dark game, so you can watch it in the afternoon. But speaking of Pac-12 After Dark, here we go. It's not as dark as I'd like, as kickoff is only at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, but it's on the Pac-12 network, so almost nobody is going to be able to watch. Number 7 USC travels to Oregon State for a huge game. Both USC and Oregon State are 3-0, with the Beavers on the verge of being a ranked team. USC hates Oregon State with a passion, as they've fallen to the Beavers a number of times as a ranked team over the years. Since 2000, Oregon State has beaten USC 4 times while the Trojans were ranked, including times when they were ranked 8th, 3rd, and 1st. Oregon State also beat USC by nearly 20 points last season. This is going to be USC's first real test of the year. This will also be a great test for Oregon State, who has really turned things around over the past season. A late night game in beautiful Corvallis, Oregon, this has the making for an insane game to close out the Saturday slate. Well, those are the 10 games I'm looking forward to the most this weekend. Which game on this list are you most excited for? Was there a matchup not included that should have been on this list? Let me know in the comment section down below. Before you leave, make sure to smash that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. If you love college football, this is definitely the place for you. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm posting videos every day during the season, so make sure to subscribe if you call yourself a college football fan. Also, make sure to drop a like on this video as well. It helps out with that YouTube algorithm and helps share the video with more college football fans. Plus, it only takes a second to do. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.